Alright, I just wanted to provide a short video talking about the components for the community analysis project and presentation. This is a major assignment connected with your service learning and your work in your service learning. And for this assignment, what you want to do is you want to figure out how your community impacts your student learning, your students' motivation, and even start to understand the connection between how the community is going to impact your curriculum choices, how you decide to teach, and the methods in which you deliver. So what we're going to do is the project is broken up into four main components. The first component, we're going to go on a group field trip, session 5, to start exploring our community, talk a little bit about it. But by session 6, we should basically have a community exploration done, feeling comfortable within our community. Ideally, we're starting our service learning by session 4, session 5, so we've been going to the community a little bit. But rather than just zoning out on our drive there, we want to actually look at where are our students coming from? What does the community around them have to offer them? How does it impact their motivation to learn? How does it impact their general livelihood as a whole? So you and your group member will be looking to answer each of these 14 bullet points, and when you're answering them, you should provide some detail. Just a couple of little points here and there probably is not going to be sufficient. So this will be something that you can break up with your group member, or that you guys can collaboratively work on to really pull this together. Once you've completed that, it's time to look inward in our classroom. And this is something that you're going to have to do as a teacher, and you're going to be asked to do as you start to develop lesson plans in both your pre-student teaching and your student teaching, where you are doing an analysis of the learners and the learning environment in your classroom. As I said earlier, who your learners are and the learning environment in your classroom is going to make a big determination on how you're going to teach and what your relationship is going to be with your students. So during sessions 7 and 8, individually, you will look at the classrooms that you are serving in, and you will try to identify and look at the learners in the learning environment. Again, ideally, there's going to have to be some thought and some analysis behind this. Simply putting jotting a few notes here and there down, probably is not going to do. If there are students in your classroom with IEPs, maybe you could write down what is their individual education plan, what are some of the accommodations that they need in order to be successful. That would be good to have a conversation with your cooperating teacher as well. And then finally, we kind of want to reflect on our learning and figure out, how does the community impact our student learning? How does our learners help to shape that? And there are these 5 questions here, and we're going to go over this probably during session 9 or 10. But in session 9 or 10, we're going to really start to break down these questions to figure out what exactly are these questions asking. And then what you're going to do is you're going to answer these questions, but you're also going to provide evidence from your community analysis, from your analysis of your classroom of the learners in the learning environment. In addition, we're going to have a library research session looking at possibly some potential barriers to learning in your classrooms and how to overcome some of those. And you're going to use all of that information to answer these 5 questions. Again, this is done individually. It is not done collaboratively. And then finally, we want to do a short presentation. There's a cool app out there, works on your tablet or also works on your laptop computer, called Haiku Deck. Again, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the semester. But what I want you to do is create a 7 to 12 slide. It's similar to PowerPoint. As you go through and as we look at it, we'll figure out how this works. But a 7 to 12 slide presentation capturing these main questions and these main ideas set forth at the start of our lesson. As an educator, what does this understanding about the community mean for your classroom teaching and learning? How can you engage the community as a partner in education? How can you serve the community? Again, this is going to be a 5-minute presentation encapsulating what you have learned. So we'll talk more about each of these sections as we go on, but I hope that you can look at and review this as we go on throughout the semester so that you can become more and more comfortable with this very powerful and hopefully impactful assignment.